Hello, universe. That was an enormous bong hit, so if you need one, feel free. Or I won't need one for at least 10 minutes. And being that it's 4:20 on the East Coast, that seems mildly appropriate. 2:20 here in Denver. On the 6th of January, what has become known as Insurrection Day. Yay, America. But I'm certainly not here to talk about that. Although, morons be morons, you know what I'm saying? And yet, they're divine, even the ones who have been manipulated against their own self-interest in ways that are so obvious to some of us and so fractured to others. But whatever ways that I'm being manipulated and unaware of it, I just ask for the same level of forgiveness when those truths reveal themselves to me, as I'm sure some personal revelation is in store for some others. And I forgive you for having been tied in a knot that you only realized how to untie later when you saw the knot was actually there. But not here to talk about any of that. In fact, this is the 9th recording, which means if I'm going to hold myself accountable to my word, which I plan on doing, the 10th recording is the one I need to take inventory of the previous 9 and sew up loose threads. And in preparation for that, actually, just listened to most of the first 8 episodes on double time, as should all of you. I'm not saying you should listen to those. I'm saying double time. But I think I definitely noted about 7 things that need to be revisited. So that exercise has value. And yet, having reviewed it enough to have a sequence of episodes, I am sorry for the coughing, that was rude. To have a sequence of episodes that are more context than just the last episode, which is how I had been going here, to review, has given me a couple of things that I know I do need to talk about, because I have not approached them. And that's why I opened with a bong hit, because number 1 on that list is pot smoking. And I smoke a lot of pot. And I don't just smoke pot. I vaporize the butane hash resin that is extracted from the plant in a chemical extraction process that leaves you with a rather potent and significantly mood-altering properties that, honestly, I'm not sure how far I would have made it through life without. And this comes from a cannabis neophyte, in spite of the fact that I'm on, a almost 40-year habit. For the longest time, the way you bought a bag of weed in my universe was you met some dude in the back parking area of a 7-Eleven and exchanged $40 for a bag of God knows what, and when you got home you hoped it was good, and if it wasn't, you hoped the next time was better. It's not like you could walk in and say, well, I'm suffering a bit of depression. It's more fatigue than depression. Let's call it depressing fatigue, or it's more a fatiguing depression. And if I'm being honest, it's not that I'm suffering it, it's that sometimes that malaise, it takes me over. And so I'm looking for something I can counteract in the moment, preferably in edible form. No, it was some dude named Kurt who had a fucking Honda Accord with a seatbelt that didn't work, that you sat in the front seat as he sized you up to make sure you weren't a cop, and then handed you, a bag of God knows what. And you handed him anywhere from probably $20 to $60 for an eighth of weed. And that was how it worked till they came up with that medical card, transitioned into what is now basically recreational legalization of marijuana, at least in the state of Colorado. And one of the reasons I'm going to take a bong hit every 10 minutes here is to show you that marijuana has, of all the drugs, gotten the worst rap. And I don't mean the worst rap. That would probably be, well, that's a hard one. Perhaps it does live up to that billing. The point is, marijuana is, it's a compound of various impact. In other words, different strains do different things, period. There's no question about it. And what I took a hit of before even speaking was a combination of Blue Dream extract. And Blue Dream is a specific strain of sativa cannabis that is known for its uplifting and creative properties in terms of its impact. And a wax product, which is a tumbled keef resin that ends up looking something like, the clumps of brown sugar that you get that you don't want. That's kind of what wax sugar product that you put on an instrument, and in this case, it's like something that looks like a dental tool. Has a little tiny spoon on it, a spoon the size of your pupil, and on the other end is a pointed flat surface. You use either one of those to grab what would be the equivalent of a tiny bit of hot pepper sauce, just to see how hot it is. Like that little tiny bit of fingertip taste is about the quantity that's involved. And so what I do is I usually choose a stickier compound on the base, thus the Blue Dream wax, or in this case, Blue Dream sugar. And the names of the product that are given to some degree reflect its potency. For instance, sugar is definitely more potent than butter, but it doesn't necessarily reflect its impact. There are plenty of butters that will have the creative and energetic burst that I'm looking for when I smoke marijuana, that if I were to smoke more potent marijuana extracts wouldn't necessarily be there. In fact, if you get stuck with the wrong extract, and it's one built for, say, appetite enhancement, well, you can spend the next 4 hours in your kitchen making peanut butter, banana, and sunflower seed sandwiches. But if you get the one that is to counteract people who have insomnia, you can spend the next 4.5 hours sleeping through Gilligan's Island episodes. My point is, marijuana has a lot of different effects, and knowing its impact is something that the world has unfortunately missed out on. Because for me, quality sativa that isn't stoner spider webs in my brain, and by that I mean there are some marijuana strains that I'll just call stupid weed. They make you feel stupid. And there are days when all I want to do is feel stupid and watch Gilligan's Island. And honestly, those are days when I don't mind a quick hit of Headband or Chocolope and just sitting on the couch and laughing at nonsense. It's actually uplifting. There's euphoria weed. There's weed that makes sex better. There's weed that makes thinking through a problem easier. And that's the weed I like, because the clarity it provides me mentally, and it's been 8 minutes, maybe 9. The clarity it provides me mentally is as if to help me find connections to things that are sitting untied. And they're not untied because I smoke too much weed. What I'm saying is the cycles of life, the rhythm of life, is a hard thing to get the meta picture of. And I think connecting with myself becomes easier when I let go of some of the bass boost or treble settings on my headphones that make everything feel distorted. I like clarity, and marijuana actually provides clarity for me. That's something I can say about a few other drugs, maybe crystal meth. Oh, there's a lighter that works. Oh, there. That's good. Okay. Torch is lit. So, now I'm lighting a torch. It's one of those Home Depot torches. Because I have an element, a titanium nail, which does not look like a nail. It looks like some artifact you would buy in a cheesy museum with either NASA or Egyptian miniaturized artifact remnants to hang off your keychain. It looks exactly like a piece from chess. It looks like, I guess it could be a knight, but most likely a rook. That's about the composite of it. It's got a hollow center with sort of a circular cupped bowl that has a raised middle, which is what I'm heating. That is now glowing red hot, so I'm turning the torch off. I'm going to let it cool slightly. And then now that it's cool, I'm going to take this spoonful of Blue Dream and Lemon Cake Kush wax and smoke her up. Okay, again, that was another enormous hit. I'm doing that for two reasons. One, because coughing is a side effect of this that is unfortunate. And I know that my lungs are not in terrific shape. And yet I live with that instead of converting to edibles because I don't really know shit about edibles, number one. And that's a weakness. Especially since I've basically decided this is a substance that will always be in my life. But two, the precision with which I now use marijuana compared to what I used to do, which was talking to Carl in that Honda Accord, is so, I guess, perfect that I don't want to fuck with it. And by perfect, I don't mean that I've got it nailed down and it's exactly this amount. And I know there are people who do, but that isn't me. It will never be me. But it means that I now understand which strains used to have the effect that I would always wonder, why isn't weed always like this? Or the point is, I have been able to corral what was just this unknown list of variables that had just never been shared because marijuana is illegal, right? Can't tell you that it has all these good side effects. We just tell people that it makes people stupid. And to a certain extent, if you get the right kind of weed, it does make you stupid. So it's easy to reinforce that stereotype for yourself. As long as you smoke enough of Carl's weed, sooner or later you're going to get a bag that makes you stupid. So to get through to this point, for me, is winning the game. And I don't need to press that. I don't need to get fancier or less lung trouble because I've also reduced the impact that smoking it used to provide. Smoking marijuana and the carcinogens involved, I assume carcinogens, this is not a medical assessment, but combusting plant matter and then are they handing out parking tickets today? They can't be. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw what I thought was the Denver Parking Authority out there. And we do have silly, like every third Tuesday, you get trouble if you don't have, I don't know. There's some dumb ways parking works here. But no, I don't think there are. there's part of what being high does. Makes you distracted enough in a conversation to look out the window and think, they better not be putting out. Anyway, to have gotten to the point where I no longer smoke it, I know that my lungs feel way better there. Now, the feedback that, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean you stop there, especially if there are alternatives that might be even better for you. I agree. That's why I say that I'm under-researched when it comes to edibles, because that's the one place to go that's healthier than the current injection mode. I do not inject marijuana products. I do not, in any capacity, use marijuana as an injectable. I don't inject anything. But it's vaporization inside of what is essentially hot knifing the product in a product that is now at least somewhat controlled in that it is produced for a mass audience at a level that it's cross-shopped against another slew of product for that same mass audience. All of that says to me that I'm at a place in my marijuana consistency and application that it will always serve me fine. The only problem I worry about now is disrupting the system because I do believe to a certain extent that I am a better person when I use marijuana. And not that I couldn't live without it. I could, but I would miss it, and I would miss it a lot. And I don't apologize for wanting to live in a world where I can smoke as much marijuana as I want, that that's the experience in life I want to have, that it will do nothing but enhance my life in a way that will be positively presented across all my interactions with everything. And I'm not saying I need marijuana to have positive interactions. I do not. I do not smoke marijuana at work. I do not smoke marijuana at my parents' house. I'm respectful of what other people's perception of the drug is and what they think it does to me. And yet, I'm also unashamedly coming out of the closet as somebody who will no longer back down that this drug, in many ways, gives my life meaning because it helps me take what is an otherwise really hard circle of thought patterns that don't interact and brings them into connections that matter and that make my life move forward. So I'm not willing to say that marijuana can't work for everybody, because maybe it does, because it really works for me. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm always open to conversation about all topics, especially ones that I think I'm convinced I'm standing firm on. I'm willing to change my opinion about anything. If nothing else, the Mandela effect showed me that. So nothing is an open and shut case, but I'm unabashedly a fan and a committed participant in the value that marijuana offers the human experience. And I will not go down without a fight, because my life, for my composition, without marijuana, I may not even be here. So that takes care of that. And I will speak more to it as we go. But for now, know that I don't suggest you try marijuana. But if you feel lost, if you feel like your head's too busy to get organized, if you feel like you constantly doubt yourself and have a hard time believing that you have any value, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't walk into a medical marijuana shop and see if there's somebody there that might be able to help offer you some relief, if not some countermeasure, to help bring that noise to a minimum. And if it doesn't work for you, then what did you lose? And if it does work for you, what did you gain? But that's just coming from somebody who found peace in one place in life that never lied to me, and that was at a bag of pot. And now that I know how to make it work for me so that it doesn't work against me, well, something here feels like, again, at least I get to live in a universe where the weed is phenomenal and readily available. I don't know, would I have traded that for no accountability? I know there's some points in life where I would have done that. Is this one of them? Probably. Clearly, because that's how good the weed is.